in addition to collecting intelligence on threats to the homeland, I had to brief members of Congress. And I was pretty shocked at the caliber of our elected officials. And my mama said, you're either part of the problem or part of the solution. And so I decided to leave Kabul, Afghanistan, and move to Helotes, Texas, and run for Congress. I grew up in Little Leon Valley in San Antonio, and growing up there, there's two places I never thought I'd live: Afghanistan and Helotes. And it was, I lost that first election. At the time, I didn't welcome the loss, but actually now I realize how important it was because I had the opportunity to get more involved in the private sector. I became a partner in a consulting firm, helped companies grow in markets they'd never been in before, and helped start a cybersecurity company from scratch. And getting that experience of starting a company from zero was a huge, impactful experience because the proverbial two guys or two gals in a garage shouldn't have to worry about a super complicated tax code as the first thing when they start a business. They should be worrying about how do I build a better widget, how do I provide a better service, how do I hire the best people, right? And they can't because of this cumbersome tax structure. Having dealt with that was a great experience for me when I finally got into Congress. In 2014, the opportunity came to run, and I took it. And we won this time. And y'all know it's a big district. From San Antonio to El Paso, down to Eagle Pass, 29 counties, 2 time zones, 820 miles of the border. It takes 10 and a half hours to drive going 80 miles an hour from one corner to the other, right? And 80 is actually the speed limit in 75% of the district. But it's not the speed limit in all of Texas, I realized recently. And it's awesome to represent my hometown. It's awesome to represent these great 29 counties. Look, when I ran for office, I had 2 reasons for doing it. Number 1 was to be a leader on national security. Number 2 was to be the gold standard when it comes to constituent relations. Right? On the national security front, to be able to leverage my background and experience, there's no other former CIA officers. Come on in.
Thank you.
There's no other former CIA officers in Congress. Many of y'all saw my conversation with the head of the FBI recently about our former Secretary of State's emails. To me, the problem is you cannot create a culture within our national security environment that says not handling secrets is okay. There's a problem with that. Many people in this room fought to protect those secrets. I collected some of those secrets. Many of my buddies are still doing that, and we're putting them in harm's way by being willy-nilly with protecting those secrets. Right? And so I feel like it's my responsibility to shine a light on those problems, right? For all those folks that are involved in our national security apparatus. The reality is this: the threats to our homeland has increased. And prior to this term in Congress, funding to the military had been decreasing. That's not the way those curves should be going. Right? We were able to make some changes in Congress, fund the military at a pretty high level, right, to make sure that our men and women are getting the training and tools and equipment they need in order to do their job and make sure that the communities stay safe. So being an advocate for them, having served alongside our military when I was in the CIA, I recognize the sacrifices they make. I recognize the sacrifices the families make. And not only is it cool representing this district, it's great being able to represent them. When it comes to constituent relations, a good majority of our job is fighting the bureaucracy for people that need it fought. All right? And I don't do any of this stuff alone. I have the awesome honor of having my name on the sign, right, and my picture on the front of the door. But it's a larger group that enables us to serve this district in a way it's never been served. We've gotten 4 bills signed into law. The last time somebody that represented District 23 got a bill signed into law was 2007, and it was the renaming of a post office. We have 5 other bills that have passed the House that we're waiting on the Senate doing it, and most of them have Senate papers. Right? And these are things that are impacting. They're things that just make sense. My first bill that got signed into law was to help Border Patrol. The way Department of Homeland Security was going to implement a pay change was going to impact the men and women in Border Patrol $700 to $1,000 a pay period. They get paid every 2 weeks for the same amount of work. That's crazy. Only Washington, D.C. would they think that's okay. And we were able to do a 1.5-page bill that stopped that from happening. Right? It's simple stuff that makes sense to make sure we continue to stay as strong as we can. When it comes to constituent relations, I'm going to introduce some of the folks on my team so y'all know who they are. Where's Stony Burke? My chief of staff, not the famous cowboy. Stony Burke. Stony is from West Texas, an Aggie. I've known him since I've known him since he was 14 years old. He ruined my life by suggesting I run for Congress, and I got the opportunity to ruin his by making him my chief of staff. Where is Tyler Lowe? One of our newest additions. Tyler is also an Aggie. We got a few on staff. He is, for the last year and a half, has been the, we got someone trying to come in? No? Tyler, for the last year and a half, has been the counsel on the Homeland Security Committee up in Washington, D.C. That experience is important for the amount of stuff we do with CBP, with ICE, with HSI. That experience is important to us. He did his law school in San Antonio, and you're going to be seeing a lot more of him. Who else do we have? Where's Jenny? Jenny Tavares. Jenny Tavares is from Fort Stockton. She has she spent some time at Saul Ross, went to University of Texas Austin. We let a few slip in, and she is one of our field reps and crisscrosses this district. Come on in, y'all. Where is Henry here? Is Henry, you sneak in? Henry Rivera in the back. He is one of our caseworkers extraordinaire. He has, when it comes to issues with Medicare or Social Security, Henry is the guy that is fighting that bureaucracy to get those things done. And last but not least is John Arnold. Yeah, you can tell he's a Longhorn. Yeah, he's a Longhorn. John is also an Army veteran of 9.5 years, understands the VA process intimately, and he's been one of the folks that have been helping us deal with our veterans cases. I'm proud of the fact that in 2015 alone, we closed 242 cases for veterans, problems with services, things like that. And we're on track to hit that number this year. And the reality is this: Washington has funded the VA to the highest levels it's ever been funded. But we still have some problems. Yes, sir. No, look, and if you haven't talked with John about this, I know we're working on some other issues with the VA and the military for you. If we haven't heard about that, then let us help get involved in that issue. Because guess what? If you're having the problem, then thousands of people are having that problem, right? And our philosophy is simple. Let's solve the problem for you, for the individual, and when we figure out how to solve it for you, we can figure out how to solve it for everyone, right? And these are where we spend a lot of time, where John spends a lot of his time dealing with that. It's unfortunate that you have to go to your congressman and make this work, right? Because it should just work, right? And I'm sorry that's what's happening, but let us make sure we talk after this to get the details so that we can follow up and also see if there's any other ways that we can help. Yeah. Yep. No, look, you've put yourself in harm's way. You were willing to serve our country, and we should continue to serve you for your willingness to do that. So thank you and welcome home, sir. Thank you. Yeah, y'all keep clap for him. For real. And these are some of the issues that we're trying to deal with, right? There's a program called the Choice Program. The Choice Program is not perfect, right? It's had problems when it got started. We're working with the community health centers across the district to try to get to have them help provide services to the veterans. And if you don't know what it is, if you have an appointment that's more than 30 days, you can go to your local, go to a local healthcare provider in the community that's in the program. Or if your appointment is more than 40 miles away, you can do it as well too. Now, one of the problems when it started was that the VA wasn't paying its bill. And so folks weren't getting involved in it, and they were having a hard time. Or we weren't educating our veterans that you can't just show up and show the card. They have to be already, participating in that program, right? And so one of the things, you have a great veteran service organization representative here that's working with the veterans locally on a lot of the state programs.
What about our $19 trillion?
Absolutely. It's a big problem. It's a national security issue. When you look at any of the major national security, folks in the national security arena, have said this is one of our biggest issues. It's very basic. We got to spend less, and we got to grow our economy, right? We've had a tax plan on my side of the aisle in the House that grows the economy 9%. That's not our number. That's an outside group that has looked at this. 9% is a gigantic number, right? So if you grow your economy 9%, what are you going to do? You're going to increase tax base. You're going to generate more income to pay these things back. But we also got to drive down how we spend. One of the things that I spend a lot of time on is procurement issues, specifically IT procurement issues. IT procurement is not a sexy topic. Nobody holds a rally for IT procurement. The federal government is spending $80 billion a year on purchasing computer software equipment. 80% of that is stuff that's old and outdated, right? And so one, it decreases our efficiency, and two, we spend a lot more money on it. Two agencies that took their operations into the cloud saved $2 billion. Now guess what happens? If they don't use that $2 billion, it gets cut off, right? If you don't spend it, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? So we have a bill, the Move It Act, that basically says if you realize savings, it's going to go in a fund that you can have access to for 3 years in order to modernize your systems, because there is zero incentive in the federal government to save money. If you increase that incentive, you see people stop spending, right? And we get our spending down, grow our economy. What do? Get out that debt, right? So we also need folks that get that and appreciate that at all levels in government, including in the White House. But thank you for the question, sir. What else? Yes, sir.
After you with jobs, Obama came in, he killed jobs.
Yep.
The 40-hour deal, forget about it. My daughter hadn't worked in 2 years because every job she worked at in the town, they only work 1 month at 40 hours, then they cut it off, they go to 38, then to 30, then down to 20, and you can't make a living, you got a grandchild, you got a child, and you give up because it's easier to get on welfare and food stamps than it is to try to work, because every job kills jobs because they don't want to pay that insurance. Because if you work 40 hours a week, you got to have insurance. Obama's law killed that.
The House has passed a number of times legislation to mandate a 40-hour work week, so that kind of stuff wasn't happening. right? And also, when it, we got to have our entitlement programs encourage work, not discourage work, right? And that's one thing. And then also it goes back to, we got to grow the economy. And one way to do that is to fix our cumbersome tax code. So y'all keep some more of your money in your own pocket and not send it up to Washington, D.C.
You need to raise the minimum wage because that's what it is now. It should be at 11 or $14 an hour right now. And at this, you cannot take a living.
Growing the economy for everybody is going to lift all boats, right? And that's
it should be $10 an hour right now. That's been the hell for all the years I worked. Wherever they get a raise, you can enjoy it. But now, at $10.25, you can't do it.
Yep.
So y'all need to come up along and go ahead and raise it at $10 an hour.
There we go. What else? Yes, sir. Hey.
For Social Security, the last Social Security statement I haven't filed yet said there that by the year 2034, we receive 21% less than what we're currently receiving now. Okay, now what's your take on Social Security?
So that is to say, if we stay on the current projection, that's what's going to happen. The reality is this: Social Security is important to seniors and folks near being seniors, and we got to make sure we honor the commitment. Y'all paid into the system. Y'all should be able to benefit from it. So there is a legislation also dealing with the cost of living adjustment or lack thereof, right? And again, part of our economic plan is to make sure we save Social Security for the future. One of the things we need to stop doing is taking money out of it and using it for other things, right? Again, only Washington, D.C. Yeah, absolutely. 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 Right.
If we pay into it, tell the U.S. government, especially the new president, when they come and kick the hands off of it.
Amen, brother.
What about the interest rate? Seniors having the savings, they used to be able to invest their money and live off the savings and not touch the principal. I cannot believe that us old people have not cried crazy for that. I guess we're just too old and too tired to, but that's what's slowing our economy down in my home. All by I see it. And I mean, that's, and I don't know what, the Federal Reserve, I don't know what control, they all have their own.
Again, it goes back to how we structure taxes in this country, right? We do things right now with some of our rates being so high, money is going overseas. There's about $7 trillion in U.S. dollars sitting overseas that could be used and invested right here in the United States of America. And because of the tax code, we're preventing that from happening. I'm letting you make your decisions on your retirement. That makes too much sense. And again, we have an incredibly comprehensive tax plan on this. If y'all want to see more of the details, we have a website. It's called better.gop that has 67 specific policy proposals that we're going to propose in 2017, and it's part of this larger suite of changes we're suggesting that's going to ultimately grow the economy by 9%.
Well,
yes, sir. One more.
Getting back to the Social Security.
Yeah.
Because of the way that the economy's been,
Yeah.
there's been less people working, especially less people working full-time, okay? And that means that there's less money going into the so-called Ponzi scheme of Social Security. I think that's been overlooked.
I don't look. I agree with you 100%. As our workforce is aging and getting out of the workforce, we're not supplanting it with enough people to take control of how the system's currently based.
Well, supposedly, there's a lot of part-time.
Right.
So there's less money going into the market.
Absolutely. That's why we need to put more people back to work in full-time positions, right? That's why we need to have policies that encourage our energy sector, right? We need to stop having an EPA that is doing things like waters in the U.S., right? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, right? There's probably enough in this room. But the reality is this. The reality is this. Trying to mandate a dry creek bed or an indentation on your land is an attempt to get on your land, right? And these regulations and rules are going to drive up the costs that our farmers and ranchers are having to do their work, which means the food we buy in the grocery store is going to be driven up. And folks that are living on a fixed income, the impact of that is huge. And then when you have your prescription drug costs doubling and tripling because of the Affordable Care Act and some of the decisions made on that, this is a large impact to our seniors and folks near seniors, right? And so all of this stuff is connected, and we got to and that's part of Congress taking on more of its role as we call Article 1 authorities, Article 1 of the Constitution that gives us the power. Part of that means that we got to start passing appropriations bills to fund the government, because when we do that, we have additional levers to stop the executive branch from doing some of these things. Right? When we actually do that, it gives us more power to put the executive branch in check. Right? We have a long way to go, and I'm gonna end with this story, and then take a few questions. And I don't think I did this earlier, but will y'all join me in helping me thank Dairy Queen?